Right now, give it up for Tim Finnegan.
What up, people? How y'all doing tonight? All right, well, that's what I like to hear. Well, my name's Tim Finnegan, but besides being known as Tim Finnegan, I could also be known as Ferris Bueller or Abe Froman. Now, I went to Shermer High School back in the day, and back when I was in high school, I used to have fucking awesome times. I used to play hooky in school from school and ditch school all the time. It was fucking awesome. And I'd like to tell you guys a fucking story about a time when I ditched school. It was my 9th sick day when I was a senior in high school, and I pretended to be sick that day when I really wasn't sick. And what I did that day was I spent the entire day in downtown Chicago with my best friend Cameron and my girlfriend Sloan, and it was a fucking awesome day. Now, first what happened was, my parents, Katie and Tom Bueller, believed I was sick and they wanted me to stay home. But my sister Jeannie, who was pissed off all the time, she was fucking pissed off, she didn't believe I was sick. She's like, why do you get away with all this shit all the time? So there was a lot of shit going on at the time, and when I called in my 9th sick day, the principal of my high school, Mr. Ed Rooney, knew I was skipping school, and he said, I have it right here in front of me. He's been absent 9 times, but I changed it back to 2 times, and he called his secretary Grace. He's like, Grace! And so, once I started the day, and I called my friend Cameron and asked him to come over and pick me up since I didn't have a fucking car at the time. But Cameron didn't want to come over at first because he thought he was sick when I knew he wasn't, but he eventually came over. And then when I got to my house, he prank called Principal Rooney, and he called and pretended to be my girlfriend Sloan Peterson's father. So he pretended to be Mr. Peterson, and he's like, I'd like to dismiss my daughter from school. And so we got away with that, and once we picked up Sloan from school, and I disguised myself as her father, we went in Cameron's dad's Ferrari, and we drove to downtown Chicago, and we were ready to enjoy a fucking awesome day. So when we got to Chicago, we were in the parking garage, and there was a parking attendant. Cameron was afraid to leave his car there because he was afraid of it getting stolen, but I talked to the parking attendant. I was like, look, I want this car being taken good care of. So parking attendant said he would do it, but he didn't really do his job. He just drove off with the car with one of his friends and put a lot of miles on it before I found out later. So then what happened was, we were in Chicago, and we visited some places like the Sears Tower, and then we went out to lunch at a fancy French restaurant. When we were at the French restaurant, I stole someone else's reservation at the restaurant and told the guy that my name was Abe Froman, and I was there for a party of 3 for 12, and the host was like, wait, you're the Sausage King of Chicago? I'm like, yeah, that's me. But he asked us to leave, and he threatened to call the police. I'm like, you know what, I'll just call him myself. So I picked up the phone, and I thought I was calling the police, but I was actually calling the restaurant, and I put Sloan on the phone, and she asked for Abe Froman, and she described my looks, and then Cameron pretended to be the Chicago police, and then we sat down, we had lunch, and it was fucking awesome. So then later that day, the principal, Rooney, came to my house, and he rang the doorbell, which had an automated system on the door, and then he tried to break into my house, but my neighbor's dog who was at my house chased after Rooney and scared him away, and I'm like, holy shit. And then I was also in a parade later that day too, when I was downtown, and it was a fucking awesome parade. I was lip singing the Stonka Shane, and I was also singing Twist and Shout by the Beatles, and the entire crowd fucking loved it. And even my dad was working downtown. Tom Bueller was there. He saw the parade from out the window, but he didn't notice me in the parade, thank God. So after the parade, we picked up a Ferrari and we started to drive home. But when Cameron saw how many miles were put on the car, he went berserk and screamed. He was like fucking pissed off about it, and we tried to help calm him down, but nothing worked. So then when we got back to Cameron's house, we tried to put the car in reverse, but that didn't take the miles off. So then Cameron was pissed off enough that he destroyed his dad's car. So then what happened after that was, I offered to take the heat for Cameron and say, look, I'll tell your dad I did it, but it's like, no, I can do this. So I said goodbye to Cameron, and then I said goodbye to Sloan, and when I knew my parents were due home soon, I had to run home and rush home, so I got home just on time, and Mr. Rooney caught me, but he's like, you looking for this? How would you feel about another year of high school? And I was like, holy shit, how did the principal catch me? So Rooney saw me, but then my sister Jeannie was glad I was okay. Then I went back upstairs, got back in bed right on time before my parents came to check on me, and that was a fucking awesome day that I did school and spent an entire day in downtown Chicago. And I'll close with one of my favorite quotes, which I'll give you good advice that life moves pretty fast. And if you don't stop and look around once in a while, you can miss it. That's my time. Thank you for watching tonight. You guys have a wonderful night. Thank you.
And if you're a visual person, his performance is on Netflix.